Let's get right into it. Number 9. The Forever Makeup Bag. Makeup feels like one of the safest, most normal purchases on earth. Mascara, foundation, long-wear lipstick. Totally boring, totally routine. And that's exactly why this one lands so hard. Because some of that performance makeup is now getting treated less like a beauty product and more like a chemical problem with a retail shelf. The issue is PFAS, the so-called forever chemicals. They can be used for the slick, waterproof, long-lasting finish that makes a product feel premium, which sounds great right up until regulators stop hearing long wear and start hearing persistent exposure source. In Washington, cosmetics and personal care products with intentionally added PFAS are among the products banned from sale after existing stock runs through the end of 2025. France also put PFAS cosmetics into an official ban framework starting in 2026, and the FDA reported 51 PFAS ingredients showing up in 1,744 cosmetic formulations, while also saying there still wasn't enough data to determine safety for most PFAS used in cosmetics. So no, this does not mean all makeup everywhere is suddenly illegal, but it does mean your makeup bag is starting to look a lot less like a harmless little routine and a lot more like a chemistry set that lawmakers finally decided to open. Number 8. The illegal leftovers. Here's a weird sentence you probably never expected to hear. In some places, throwing food in the trash is exactly what the law is trying to stop. For most people, garbage is garbage. You scrape your plate, toss the peels, shut the lid, and move on. But the real twist is that food waste is starting to get treated less like normal trash and more like its own separate material stream. Basically, recycling, but for dinner scraps. Once lawmakers look at leftover food as compost, animal feed, or digestion input instead of landfill filler, dumping it in the regular bin starts looking like the wrong endpoint, not the normal one. Vermont pushed that logic early with Act 148, and household food scrap separation there phased in by 2020. California now requires residents to participate in local organics collection programs and sort waste into the right containers. Washington's organics law is also expanding collection in covered areas by 2027. That does not mean every house in America is about to get fined over a banana peel. The rules still depend a lot on where you live and what service is available. But it does mean something very basic has flipped. Your leftovers are no longer just leftovers. Even your trash can is getting standards. Number 7. The stain-proof closet. Take a rain jacket, a stain-resistant rug, or a couch that promises to survive real life. Most people hear that and think better fabric. Regulators are starting to hear something else. The hidden issue is PFAS, the chemical treatments often used to repel water, grease, and stains. In plain English, the feature that makes the product feel tougher can also be the thing that turns it into a compliance problem. It is basically your closet getting judged by the same logic as a restricted coating. Once lawmakers target the chemical class itself, performance fabric stops sounding like a harmless upgrade and starts sounding like a category they may want off the shelf. That shift is already showing up in real places. California flagged PFAS treatments for converted textiles and leathers as a priority product in 2022. Washington has already moved on PFAS in stain and water resistance treatments, carpets, rugs, and furnishings, and later rulemaking expanded toward clothing and related products. France starts banning PFAS in specified textiles and footwear from 2026, with broader textile restrictions by 2030. Minnesota's broader PFAS sales prohibition reaches 2032, unless a use is considered unavoidable. So no, this does not mean all waterproof gear disappears tomorrow, but it does mean the feature that sold the product is becoming the reason it gets pushed out. Number 6. The banned backyard engine. You know that sound. That raspy, high-pitched, neighborhood-wide scream that somehow means one guy is moving 3 leaves from one side of the driveway to the other. For years, a gas leaf blower just felt like part of suburban life. Loud, annoying, but normal. The twist is that regulators are starting to treat it less like harmless yard equipment and more like a perfect little policy target. It is noisy. It throws exhaust right where people breathe. And unlike a lot of bigger machines, it is also pretty easy to replace with electric versions. In other words, the loudest tool on the block may also be the easiest one for a city to outlaw. That is why some places have already gone way past complaints and into actual legal action. DC says the use and sale of gasoline-powered leaf blowers have been prohibited since January 1, 2022, and city guidance highlights fines of up to $500 per offense. California approved rules that require most newly manufactured small off-road engines, including leaf blowers, to be zero emission starting in 2024. Portland's citywide gas leaf blower phase-out began on January 1, 2026. That does not mean every lawn tool everywhere is suddenly gone, but it does mean the machine that used to blend into the background has become too obnoxious and too easy to replace to keep getting a free pass. Number 5. The fake final price. You've seen this scam 100 times. A ticket says one price, a hotel room says another, and then checkout suddenly starts acting like it found a bunch of surprise relatives you also have to pay for. For a long time, companies treated that like normal internet business. Show the cheap number first, reveal the unavoidable charges later, and hope you're too tired to back out. That is drip pricing. And the reason regulators are turning on it is pretty simple. If the real total only appears at the end, then the first price was never really the price. It is basically a bait price wearing a real price's name tag. That legal shift is already here. California says SB 478 required listed prices to include mandatory charges starting the 1st of July 2024. The FTC announced its final junk fees rule in December 2024, and it took effect in May 2025 for live event tickets and short-term lodging. Then the UK's Competition and Markets Authority started using new consumer protection powers in late 2025 and pushed formal price transparency guidance into 2026. That does not mean every extra fee everywhere is suddenly illegal, but it does mean one of the most common checkout tricks on the internet is starting to read less like clever marketing and more like evidence. Number 4. The Takeout Kit Ban. Start with the tiny junk that always comes with takeout. The plastic fork, the lid, the clamshell box, the stir stick. The little extras nobody thinks about because they were basically designed to disappear the second you used them. That is exactly why regulators went after them. These things are cheap, everywhere, hard to recycle, easy to replace, and visually terrible once they become litter. So what used to look like harmless convenience now looks more like an easy legal target. The logic is almost insulting in its simplicity. If a product is used for 10 minutes, tossed immediately, and keeps showing up in waste streams, lawmakers do not have to start with the biggest plastic problem. They can start with the little disposable side characters first. And they already have. Canada's regulations started in 2022 and prohibit the manufacture, import, sale, and later export phases for 6 categories of single-use plastics. England followed with 2023 rules covering multiple items, including certain cutlery, plates, trays, and polystyrene containers. Washington and New York also have foam food service bans in force, which means the crackdown is not just theoretical, and it is not just one country being weird. That does not mean all packaging or all plastics suddenly vanish, but it does mean the cheapest part of your takeout order is becoming the least legally durable part. Number 3. The no-gas new house. A brand new house with a gas stove, a gas dryer, and gas heat still sounds completely normal. That is what makes this one feel so strange, because the place where gas is starting to lose first is not the old house, it is the new one. The reason is brutally practical. It is much easier to stop a future gas hookup than to rip one out of a house that already exists. So if lawmakers want to change the default, new construction is the cleanest place to do it. It is basically changing the factory settings for homes. And once that logic takes over, gas ready stops sounding like a standard feature and starts sounding like an old template that regulators are phasing out. New York City already moved with Local Law 154, which blocks fossil fuel combustion in new construction and explicitly affects things like cooking ranges and dryers. New York State's all-electric buildings law starts applying to most smaller new buildings in 2026 and expands further in 2029. The European Union has also said all new buildings must meet zero-emission standards from 2030. That does not mean gas is suddenly banned in every house, and it does not mean retrofits are the same fight, but it does mean the future house is being redesigned right now, and one of the most ordinary assumptions in modern housing is quietly getting deleted. Number 2. The under 1/6 feed. For most of the last decade, a teenager having Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or YouTube did not feel controversial. It felt automatic, like getting a phone and then immediately getting a feed. That is what makes this shift so weird. In at least some places, the question is no longer whether teens will sign up anyway. It is whether platforms can legally let them in at all. Australia's Online Safety Amendment in 2024 created a real under-16 account prevention framework, and the 2025 rules spelled out which services were covered. Official guidance also says penalties can reach 49.5 million Australian dollars if platforms fail to take reasonable steps. So the burden starts moving away from parents doing their best and onto the apps themselves. It is basically carding people at the digital front door. And that is where it gets messy. By March 2026, Australia's regulator was already probing major platforms over compliance gaps, which tells you the law is real, but making it work is another story. AP also reported that Indonesia began implementing under-16 social platform restrictions in March 2026, so this is no longer one-country speculation either. That does not mean the whole world has agreed on this, and it definitely does not mean kids are getting banned from the internet. But it does mean something that used to feel like a normal part of modern adolescence is starting to look like a platform liability problem. Number 1. The Disposable Crackdown. For a while, disposable vapes looked like they had won. Bright colors, sweet flavors, no setup, no refilling, no commitment. Just buy one, hit it, toss it, repeat. That made them feel less like a controversial nicotine product and more like a normal retail format, which is exactly why they became such a clean target. The real twist is that lawmakers did not have to go after vaping as a whole first. They could go after the most convenient version. A disposable vape is basically the fast food form of nicotine. It is pre-filled, usually not refillable, built for impulse use, and easy to throw away. So it bundles together almost every complaint regulators like youth appeal, easy access, and a battery-powered waste stream. That makes the format unusually easy to name, isolate, and ban, even in places where other vape products still survive. And that is already happening. France's 2025 law pushed disposable vapes off sale, starting the 26th of February 2025. The UK says its single-use vape ban came into force on the 1st of June 2025, making it illegal to sell or supply them. Then, in March 2026, the European Commission approved Bulgaria's national ban on disposable e-cigarettes, who also spent 2025 urging governments to ban flavored tobacco and nicotine products, including e-cigarettes, to protect youth. So no, this does not mean all vaping is suddenly illegal. But it does mean the easiest vape to buy became the easiest vape to kill.